Hello there folks, it is TIJ Gaming and welcome back to Conquering the Euro on Football Manager 2021. Today we start Season 11 with our new club. We've gone to Holland to take over PSV Eindhoven. I'll talk all about that in just a second, but seeing as this is an episode 1, the start of a new season, this is usually where people drop in for the only time potentially in the season. So make sure to leave a like down below. It's imperative more today than ever because it gets more people in and potentially more people interested in the series, and more people interested is a win-win for us all. But let's get into it. Of course, last time out with Barcelona, we managed to win the Champions League final at the death by scoring a 95th minute goal against Chelsea. We then took it to extra time and scored in extra time, managed to win the Champions League. So we won the Champions League, we won LaLiga, we won the Supercopa, and we got to the final of the Copa del Rey. There wasn't really much more we could have done with Barcelona. Of course, the aim of this series is to go and win 3 different domestic titles. We've ticked off Spain, and now we've come to Holland. It's somewhere a little bit different. Now, the Bayern Munich job was open in the summer, but I thought, I can't get there. I can't get there after I've been to Barcelona. Barcelona was difficult in some aspects, but it was probably a weak season, actually, because Real Madrid, Atletico, neither of which really were in the title race. But here in Holland, we've got quite a competitive title race. We've got Ajax in it, we've got Feyenoord. Even though PSV are the reigning champions, we are only second favourites to take the league title. So there's a bit of an uphill battle there, and hopefully we'll have a bit more of a title race with Ajax. But why PSV? Well, for a simple explanation, the job was open. We've just had a European Championship summer, and the manager had been there for the last 3 years, managed to win 3 Dutch leagues in a row, no pressure there. Philip Cocu has gone to manage England. So the PSV job was open. I was looking for a new job anyway, and I thought this would be a really good challenge, somewhere a bit different. And yeah, it's not one of the main leagues in Europe. Of course, you've got Spain, Italy, Germany, France and England. We've managed in England, France and Spain. So we're now in Holland. Next up, I'd probably like to go to Italy, perhaps, but wherever it takes me. And I think the rule with the final club, if we are to win the league here at PSV, is that we can't take over the reigning champions. I mean, yes, PSV have won the league in the last 3 years, sure. But as I said, Ajax are the favourites this year. Last year it was bloody tight. Only 2 points separated the top 2. Beforehand 10 points, and then, as you can see, the year before PSV won it on goal difference. So it's a very tight one up the top. But Ajax have been in really good form beforehand. They've got the manager Frank de Boer, who's been there a couple of years now. But we've got some really good challenge in Ajax, and we'll find out how that title race will go throughout the year. So new club, it should be interesting. As I say, if you're going to enjoy, make sure you do leave a like down below. So the next thing we need to do is introduce everyone to the squad. Now, I've only been here a few days. I joined the club on the 6th of August, which unfortunately means that the season had started without me. We'd had one match, and luckily they played well. It was a 1-0 win against Triple V Venlo, and I apologise for butchering some of the pronunciations of these teams and the players. But we've got Willem today, and then we're going to play Vitesse as well. So we're going to play 2 games. But let's have a look at the squad. Now, I'm not too sure about this squad. There is definitely some depth that we need. We're going to go onto the squad depth screen, actually, to look at the players. So, in terms of goalkeepers, you can see we've got 3 goalkeepers. But what you'll notice here, we've got one player who is by far first choice, and that's Silvio Jokic, 22-year-old Croatian, joined the club this season, so he's just joined from Dinamo Zagreb in Croatia, 14.5 million. And at the age of 22, he's no question that he's going to be the first choice goalkeeper for years to come. 3-star current ability, 4-star potential. Behind him, we've got a player who I had at Nice, Hugo Sousa, so nice to see him again, a good goalkeeper, good experienced goalkeeper. But you can see here we've got 3 experienced goalkeepers. Do we need all of them? No. I think one of these can go. But unfortunately, Youngdal, who's the 4th choice, has got a 3-year contract. Martin Pies, though, his contract runs out at the end of the year. So we'll probably look to release him towards the end of the year. Right back is another position where we haven't got much depth, but all the players here are of a good young age. PSV and Holland are known for producing good youngsters, and that is definitely seen here. So we've got Barry Roddy, who doesn't sound very... is it Dutch? Yeah, doesn't sound very Dutch. Of course, it is Dutch. Doesn't sound very Dutch, and you'd be right, because he's English. Again, not the best player, I don't think. He joined from Wolfsburg for 8 million, a Leicester youngster. 2.5 stars, and he's our first choice. Now, he's got some very good stats. Concentration, decisions, passing. And his stats aren't too bad, but in terms of his coach summary, he's only 2.5 stars, so I have a bit of an issue with, but we'll see. We'll give him a chance and see how he gets on. Behind him, we've got Thierry Costa, who's a 22-year-old. I think he's going to be more like our first choice going forward. But that being said, if you look at the stats, compared to Barry Roddy is a better player. Just about. Even though, of course, there is still a bit of time for Thierry. He's got a few years on his side. I mean, born in 2009. That just doesn't seem right for him to be playing football. Crazy. But I think Barry Roddy is going to be our first choice at right back. At centre back, we've got, again, a few other good players. Bear in mind that we've got Kushar, Lowers, who we saw on the last screen, and Valiez, I think, all of which we saw on the last screen as centre backs. So, again, we haven't got that much depth at centre back in terms of natural centre backs. But this boy looks a bit special. Simon Vann Hugevort. We'll just call him Simon, I think. He's been at PSV's whole career. He looks a bit of a good player. 3.5 star, 4.5 star potential. As you can see, again, he's a natural left back. So even he's not got the first choice position at centre back. We've got 2 natural centre backs, and those are Ruben Aranzo, who looks a very good player. He's been here for a few years, got plenty of experience out on the continent, in Spain, even a year in Germany, Italy, France, and now in Holland. And we've also got the rather aging Mukhtar Diarby, and again, I don't see him playing much. He's going to be a good utility player, definitely, to try and bring in his backup, but not much more than that, unfortunately. Then at left back, we've got Hugevort, who I discussed earlier. We can see Roddy and Valiez, and to be fair, we've got some players who are quite versatile, so that no doubt will help. We've also got Alvaro Fernandez at left back as well, who's definitely the second choice. Centre back, then we've got one of our old players once again, Lewis Bate. If you remember, we had him at Everton. He joined a few years after I left for 11.25 million. And that seems to have been a bit of a wayward signing for PSV, to be honest. He's played 6 games so far. I'm not sure. He's certainly not going to be in my pecking order. He's a good player, but just not in the pecking order compared to some of these. He looks a bit special. Mohammad Al-Salman, 21 years of age. Again, another PSV Youth Academy graduate. And he looks a bit of a whopper, to be honest. 4.5 star already. Can play either central midfield or attacking midfield. We've put him in attacking midfield for today's match because there is another player who's pretty good, and that is Marco Costa. And as you can see, he can also play at centre midfield, and he's actually listed. Why on earth has he been transfer listed? Christ knows. But very similar to Al-Salman, he can play central midfield and attacking midfield, and Costa is better in midfield than... Well, Al-Salman's better in attacking midfield. That's why I based it on that. We wanted to push our best men forward. And we've got Costa in the midfield with Ludovic Reis, who is a 32-year-old. Again, experienced, but he's been here for a number of years. As you can see, he's a bit of a veteran at PSV. He's played 196 games for them, and he's going to be our second choice in midfield. Again, another few youngsters you can see looking down. Markan Kurlowski. Christ, I'm going to butcher some of these names. And Nenad Karkar looks pretty good as well. On the wing, we're going to play Kassar, Omar Ajan, or it's Aslan, I thought it was. He's going to play up front again. He looks a bit of a star, doesn't he? 4 stars up front. If we look, just focusing on the up front, we have got Ricardo Pinto as well, who can play up front, and he's going to be our second choice, I would say, but those two will vie it out for that position over the season. And we've also got the youngster Nana Giaim, who's a youngster playing for the second team. And then at left wing, we haven't got much. We haven't really got many options. We've got Fotis Palfias, who's playing at the moment, Yamaro Mbalo, and Bada Bukris. So I'm going to try and bring some players in before the transfer deadline. We have got 3 weeks. Again, I've only had a few days, so very little I could do about bringing players in. You can see the only player they bought in this summer is Silvio Jokic, but compared to 200 odd million at Barcelona, we've only got 10 million to spend. So let's see how we go. But I think the best way we're going to learn the players is to get to know them by playing some matches. So this is going to be the first team for this game. What really stands out straight away is the fact that Marco Costa is not fit. So I'm going to have to change him. And I think what we'll do, we'll put Al-Salman back in the midfield and see who can play ahead of him. We're going to put... Again, we'll do a bit of moving about. I didn't notice that. We're going to put Pinto there and Aslan on the right wing. It all works out in the end. So Jokic starts with Barry Roddy, the experienced Diarby, because Ruben Iranzo has got a suspension. He got sent off in the last game, so that's not ideal. and Korchar starts alongside him. Alvaro Fernandez starts at left-back. Again, our first choice left-back has got a suspension. Vann Hugevort, so that's, again, not going to help. He's got 3-match suspension. Reece and Al-Salman start in the midfield. Aslan starts at right wing with Kaká and Palfias in the attacking midfield. And Ricardo Pinto will start up front. Iranzo is banned. Why is he on the bench then? Let's put 2 goalkeepers on the bench. We can have 12 players on the bench in this league, which is a bit interesting. Certainly helps out quite a bit. So we're playing against Willem in our first game. Admittedly, I don't know much about Dutch football, so I might struggle a bit here. The players seem to think this formation might just expose us at the back, but if we were the league winners last year, that suggests we've got a good squad. Okay, maybe a bit of a frail defence, but I'm sure we'll soon learn how frail our defence is. But yeah, a new challenge. I'm excited for it. If you are too, then as I said, leave a like down below. And let's see, is this going to be a real bore draw, or is this going to be a good start to our PSV career? I mean, I know this is a bit of a step down from Barcelona, but many clubs after Barcelona were going to be a step down. And truth be told, anything after the Champions League final is a bit of a step down. Let's be honest. But if we lose this first game, then we might start to worry a little bit, but maybe not too much. Anwar Aslan with an early shot, and that is a lovely goal to get his second goal of the season, I presume. Who scored in the first match? Let's have a quick butchers at this. I didn't have a look beforehand. Who scored in the first match? It was... Okay. Nana Giain played. That's interesting. Did they bring him on as a sub? I should have looked at this earlier. Pinto played and they brought him on as a sub. That's interesting. Okay, fair enough. Looking at that formation from the previous game, the caretaker manager must have played with a defensive midfielder and FM's crashed. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Well, I'll be back in a second then. Shall we try that again? Let's. It's, to be fair, been 4 months since FM's been out at this stage and it hasn't crashed for me once. So, fair enough. You can't argue with that. It's the first time FM's crashed, probably because I've been mucking about and looking at previous matches when I shouldn't have done. But let's see how we get on. Again, this formation apparently could expose us at the back, but based on the early start, of which we're now kicking towards the other end, which is going to confuse me no end, but we've got an early chance here. Aslan with an early shot. Doesn't quite make it as pretty as it could have been at the start. But a good start for us here in the first 10 minutes. We've had 60-odd% possession, but that's gone down now to 53%. Just have to see how we get on. The first few matches, especially now, being, what, in 2032, pretty much everyone, apart from some of the real older players, the more experienced players, like Hugo Sousa, are all regens. So we're going to have, even though I've got limited knowledge of these players anyway from these countries, it's a bit of a minefield, to be brutally honest. So it's going to take a bit of time to learn the players. And there we go. That's our first goal of our PSV career. Forget that Aslan scored earlier on. Forget that. We're now 1-0 up in this match. And is it Paflias who got that goal? It was. Good cross from Al-Salman, who's meant to be the middleman, but seems to be a good crosser as well. And a good start. 1-0 up. We seem to be in control in this match. Obviously, Willem isn't the biggest of opponents in the world, sure, but not too sure about that sort of play from Thierry Korchar. Not sure about that at all. Good signing though, Jokic. Good sort of, clever signing I would say, because at the end of the day, there are some players here that aren't up to the job, so there needs to be a bit of quality and a bit of squad depth. That won't harm things either, so I'm hoping to bring in a few cheap players before the end of the window. Again, with 10 million, there's not much to play with, to be brutally honest. 40,000 in wage budget, but that's the charm of going to these sorts of clubs. But it's going to be an interesting league. Again, a bit of a challenge in the likes of the Champions League. But let's see how we get on. Good ball from Paflias to Aslan. And now Pinto, I thought from there, would have put us 2-0 up, but didn't, alas. Again, as long as we win this one, I've no problem whether it's 1-0 or 5. But it's almost nice to have a good, pretty start by winning 3-4-0. But if it's 1-0, then that's okay. But Willem have offered absolutely nothing so far. We have dominated them. 62% of possession, 12 shots, 4 of which were on target, and we are set for a 100% start so far, which is all good to see. But Al-Salman with the free kick after half-time and a good save there from their goalkeeper. I think it's Zuik, his name is. Kaká into the box, and 2-0. Ricardo Pinto puts us 2-0 up, a nice header there. He's off the mark for PSV, so obviously he's a fairly new player to PSV. I think we did see that, didn't we? But let's see. Again, I've not got much to talk about here because it looks like we've won this one fairly convincingly. And it's not like we're mid-season and can talk about what's happened before. We've just won the Champions League with Barcelona, so we're absolutely buzzing about that. But again, we couldn't do much more with Barcelona. Okay, so 20 minutes to go. I think we go to our more defending tactic now. Try and get ourselves a clean sheet. Looking at other players then. We've got some youngsters on the bench, subs 8 to 12. I'm just going to bring some of our more experienced players on. So Lewis can come on at right back. We'll bring Bate on in the midfield. And we'll also bring on Mbalo for... No, not him. Bring on Sanket for him. Is he any good there? Rejig things. Yeah, okay, fine. Again, I haven't got the best knowledge of these players. I'm just really purely going off star ratings, to be honest. Which is all you can do. Which is all you can do at the start of a career like this. But Willem, we're probably their best chance so far with a highlight. But if that's all they're going to threaten, then I've got absolutely no worries that they're going to get back into this match. But a very early derby game, second game into the season I noticed, was Ajax against Feyenoord. And Ajax came out on top. There was a time that Feyenoord and Ajax, I think, were the two bigger teams in Holland. But Feyenoord seems to have fell a bit by the wayside. But I'd say it's, without being very harsh, it looks like it's a three-side league between us, Ajax and Feyenoord. But we've still got to go and beat those other two teams. And we've got a double against them, I know, to the start of October. So that might be a good time to come back. And bearing in mind that there's 34 games in this league compared to 38 in the Premier League and the Spanish League. And obviously we've got the Champions League as well, which I'll bring you coverage of. But it all depends what our first game is. Because I know we always have the same sort of structure. Play the first match, come back for the first match in the Champions League. So I might change up the structure a bit this time. But let's see. Let's see. But this has been a good start. Firmly in control, it seems here. Especially in the highlights I can see. And it's just getting these players used to a bit of Jones ball. Nothing too complicated about it. It's a clean slate tactic at the end of the day. And there's nothing too complicated about that. And a lovely ball from Diaby. Can we make it 3-0? Aslan shoots. And I don't want too many like that if Aslan can help it. But again, it's still early days. We seem to have dominated this match. And with 5 minutes to go, looks like we're going to get a clean sheet. A few goals on the board. And a very dominating game to start off our career here at PSV. So a great start. Just noticed we've gone top of the table as well. So pleased with the win. All went well there. And we've got Vitesse up next, who have had 1 point out of 2. So let's see if we can keep it going and get 3 out of 3 for the start of this league. So let's see if we can make it 2 out of 2 then. We've gone with exactly the same side. Why would I change it? Ultimately, they played really well against Willem. And now it is time for Chelsea's feeder club, Vitesse. I mean, that's the only reason that anybody knows who Vitesse is, obviously. But we've had an offer for... Is it Marco? We've had an offer for Costa. K-O-S-T-E-R, not Diego Costa, but number 7, Costa, from Everton for 50 million, and he wants to go. So I thought, well, why not? We'll let him go, because if we can bring that sort of money in, then we can bring in maybe 3-4 players for that. And we are looking at a defender at the moment. One of my forward players at Everton, Diego Almeida, to come in potentially on loan, just to bolster that defence. So I'm not quite comfortable with the defence the way it is. With a loan deal, we'd look to be paying him £1 million a month, in terms of Everton paying them £1 million a month, with paying £50,000 of his wages. So I guess that's, what, 1.2 million a month. So maybe 14 million for the year. But it's a lot cheaper than signing him for, say, I don't know, 40, 50 million and maybe selling him after the 1 year. Because we have got some good youngsters coming through, but they are too young to be playing in this squad yet. So I want to bolster that defence with a real leader in defence, which he certainly was at Everton. It's obviously a player I trust as well from being at Everton. But Vitesse have got an early chance, and they are challenging us a little bit more. So I'm inclined to go down to our more defending tactic, specifically given that we are away from home as well. Wouldn't be a bad idea, but a good clearance from Reece off the line. We're just going to see if we move down to that more positive, but a bit more defending mentality, whether that makes a difference for us. Aslan boots the ball up. Not exactly sure that's the way to go about it, but it got the ball out all the same. Al-Salman, Reece, hoofs the ball up to Pinto. Pinto put it back out to Paflas. Good ball back to Pinto. Pinto shoots just off the post. I don't think the keeper got to that. He would have done, but the keeper didn't quite get to that. But it came off the post all the same. It's been a bit more... Well, it's been a lot more level here at the start. It seems we've only had two shots each, but we are controlling the game in terms of possession. Nearly 60% of possession, better pass completion rate, so we're ticking all those boxes. We just need a goal. Fernandes puts the ball to Paflas. We're half an hour in, good time to get a goal, as good a time as any, I suppose. Al-Salman, Costa, Fernandes to Paflas. Paflas still going. Could do passing the ball at some point. It's not going to be one of those half-hearted ones where he has a chance, a shot. But luckily not. Paflas, Aslan, out to Barry Roddy. Roddy back to Al-Salman. Reese, Al-Salman again. Paflas, Pinto puts it to Fernandes. Fernandes into the box for Aslan. Yes, 1-0 to PSV. I'll tell you what, we tried our best not to score that. But finally, we have gone 1-0 up. The good, encouraging thing about what happened there was a lot of teamwork involved. A lot of players involved. Got to be 6 or 7 players involved with the play there. And I guess it was a bit scrappy, but there might have been some method to the madness. I don't know. It might have been the way they played before. But, you know, it's encouraging to see. We are getting far more into this game now. Now with an XG of 1.1. Vitesse aren't offering anything. I was a bit worried in the first few minutes, but we seem to be playing well. And again, are going to have a 100% streak to start us off. But again, this game not over yet. I just don't know what to expect with this league. Apart from Ajax and Feyenoord, I just don't know who the good teams are. I guess that'll be influenced by whoever's top of the league and whoever's well placed in the league. Good ball from Fernandes to Pinto, but doesn't quite happen. So Vitesse have a counter-attacking chance. And it's just these counter-attacks that obviously we do potentially leave ourselves open to by playing quite attacking and playing a high line. And a player like Almeida could just bolster the defence and make sure we don't slip from those. Because we're not going to score 3 or 4 every day. So if we're only 1-0 up, he's the sort of player that can turn draws into wins, ultimately. Kakao have a shot, and it's straight at Muller. Thought they made yogurts. Anyway, nearly an hour in, and the players looking all good. It seems for the majority of the season, there's only 1 game a week. Obviously, the Premier League and seems to be the big difference to that, whereby there's sort of 2 games a week, and everybody gets knackered, and you need a big squad. That's probably why some of these squads aren't as deep. But again, I would still like some squad depth, because we've only got 2 players out with suspensions, and we're starting to struggle with backup options. So we could do just a bit of a cushion. Maybe 1 more player in defence, 1 more player in attack, and 1 in midfield. But Vitesse with their best chance yet, probably the best chance of the match, and he puts that one well wide. So a few minutes to go. Well, we've got 22 minutes to go. Problem is, as you can see, some of our players aren't too fit yet. So, to be honest, we're going to struggle to bring many players on. In Barlow can come on. Sunset can come on for Reese. And we'll bring Lewis on for Barry Roddy. That's about all we can do at the moment, because we need to inject some fitness into our players. It's still early on in the year. A lot of that just comes from the pre-season routine. If you get that right, your squad is fit by the time you get to the season. But if not done right, it can take a long time to put that in. And Barlow into the box for Aslan. Aslan just over the box. Could have done with that second goal cushion really there, but we didn't get it. But I think we should be alright. But you just never know. Vitesse could have a chance, and if it goes 1 each, then it's not going to be 2 out of 2. And this could be it. Diaz on the edge of the box. Diaz puts it in. And Vidringstad scores, but that is going to be offside, I think. Thomas Vidringstad got the goal, but I think Demand did probably go offside. Demand by name, demand by nature. So, 15 minutes to go. As I said, we could do with another goal here. But I don't want to push up too much that we risk being open at the back. Fernandes, come on. The second one surely is coming. Sunset. Back to Kulshar. Aslan. Aslan to Pinto. Not quite. Got another chance here though. Sunset. Al-Salman. Out wide to Mbalo. Can he make something happen here? Mbalo gets tackled. Bit of a dubious call here. I think they have got VAR in this league. Let's see. Yeah, they have got VAR. There we go. No penalty. That would have helped if we'd have had a penalty to go 2-0 up. But if it isn't a penalty, then, you know, fair enough. 5 minutes to go, though, and it's going to be a tight win. Maybe should have got 1 more or even 2, but it looks like it's going to be 3 points and a perfect start to our career here at PSV. And it just seems that whether at Barcelona, PSV or anywhere, things are made to look easy. But, Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. So, we're going to play a few games off camera. I think we have to come back for this double now, don't we? For Ajax and Feyenoord, the biggest test really of the season yet. And we'll definitely see through these few games, we're going to win all of them and get off to a 100% start. And maybe Feyenoord and Ajax are going to be our biggest test. Let's see. But a new club, a new challenge, and plenty to get excited for over the next few weeks. So if you enjoyed that, make sure to leave a like down below, comment your thoughts as well, and subscribe for regular Football Manager 2021 content. Thank you for your company today, folks, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye for now.